afternoon. So do an aftermarket debrief of what happened or what didn't happen, because today was a very muted day. We did get a couple things accomplished, but um, yeah, I took a trade early in the first 10 minutes of the day, and then that was it. I got tied up with other stuff, and I'm happy I did. Um, we have the market profile of ES on the left and NQ on the right, and we'll look at ES first. That's the one I mainly watch anyway. So this is the previous day's range right here, the value area in white. This is the overnight, and so then this is today's session. I've got two profiles. One's a collapsed market profile, and the other one is the expanded profile. And so the overnight was really muted at 143,000 contracts traded. We traded inside of value, inside of the previous value. And so didn't expect a whole lot coming into today. And then when we opened up today, we had basically an open auction where there was very low volume, very low. I mean, it was noticeable from the open. Because generally we'll have like a burst of volume come in, but nothing. And had an open auction, just kind of traded back and forth within the range. And so I took a shot. I took a shot here, and ended up, I had my trade lock on. I like to keep it on when I'm not ready to trade, and I forgot to take it off, and it was a little too far gone by the time I actually did get my trade lock off and look back at the chart. So I waited a little bit, got in a little lower, and it just moved so slow. I got out of it, took a little bit, and just called it. Didn't call it a day, but waited for the next setup that didn't eventually come. So we opened up in range and value, which is low probability setup anyway. And we ended up having an inside day, but we do have a weak high. So in the last minute, we popped up, and we can see what the previous high was. We popped up and just closed that little gap to the previous high. So now we have a weak high here. And so probabilities are this will probably get taken, tomorrow unless something changes, or at least in the near future. So we had that price probe up. It's such a strange, quick, volatile move. We'll look at the delta on that too. So we had this strong negative delta all day long. And then that last minute, we shot up, got that weak high, and, 8,000 delta. It's insane. There's something there that just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know what it is. If somebody else knows, I would love to know. That's the kind of stuff that I really dig, right? Is trying to figure out all the internals of how that stuff works. So we did see, large lots is a red line. Large lots really didn't do hardly anything all day long until, the last 15 minutes or so. And then that's the very large lots in red. And then the orange is the large lots. And we just, same deal, didn't really see them do a whole lot today. So anyway, that's something kind of weird. That's, I don't know, but it's notable anyway. So we have that weak high. We took the IB low early in the session. We also took the IB high. So now we have another neutral day. I believe this is 15 neutral days this year, which is ridiculous. It says a lot about the market that we're having so many neutral days. Over half the days are neutral at this point. So especially in light of what we've done, we haven't just balanced out the whole year. We've made new all-time highs on neutral days. It's interesting. So delta, and then we look at volume. Have less than 800,000 contracts traded, which is extremely low. I'd bet that's going to be probably the lowest value in the last 52 weeks in the last rolling year, right? We didn't fill the singles, which is interesting to note. We could not take the overnight low, and we couldn't try to dip into these singles at all. That's really bullish. We did take the overnight high. That's bullish. Despite all this negative delta, that's bullish. And we can look at our cumulative delta here. So this is going back to second week in January. So this is basically a month back. And we can see this big divergence on delta on ES. Price moving up, delta moving down, same on NQ. And then RTY is a mess. We won't worry about RTY. So I don't know what the market's waiting on. We have a CPI revision number in the morning. we don't have anything else really to note that I know of. We have a Fed speaker, but we've had 15 this week already. So I don't even remember who this one is. I don't think that that's going to be something that moves the market. We do have CPI and PPI next week. I don't think we have anything else, but it appears that the market's waiting on something. Maybe there's. I don't want to get into the ifs too much, but what we know is that there's not a lot of large traders trading this. It's not a lot of volume. There's a lot of people waiting to trade. They're waiting for something to happen to want to buy or sell ES and the indexes in general. So NQ had a better day today. We can look at the letters here. I just want to see what period that probe was in. A lot of ticks on NQ. So K period, we had that moved down, but that wasn't really below the low. So anyway, so we look on NQ. NQ did get the overnight high. It did get the previous day's high. We did not get the overnight low. We have a pretty good buy tail, and we have just a little bit of excess at the highs. So much more bullish day out of NQ today. We did have some weakness in the afternoon, but overall, everything was more positive on NQ. Same deal, we weren't able to get the singles. We don't have a gap on NQ, but we weren't able to get those singles. So let's just look at the overview here. I mean, this is what we've done, this year. We've just moved higher and higher, continue to make new all-time highs. We balanced out today, but after a gap up and new all-time highs, I don't think that's a bearish thing. I don't see any reason to short this market yet, and we still have positioning offside. So, what's the job? Just keep watching our references, and trying to trade what the market gives us. So let's just look at what we have for tomorrow. So we have this area in here. This whole area down here, this 05 down to 02, 500 strike, bottom of the single prints, this whole area, there's a lot of support here. I would imagine there's a lot of liquidity here. I'm going to look for there to be a lot of liquidity there. So tomorrow I'm going to go into the market looking for us to continue the one time frame, just like we did today. And I'm going to keep a close eye on the open, what the auction's like, if volume's coming in or not, to decide if I even want to try to trade tomorrow. I just called an early day with nothing really big on the board. So one thing I did want to look at real quick, I want to look at the X levels. I think we had some pinning. I think almost everything Mag 7 wise finished within their 1 sigmas. So we had another touch again. That was that move in the last minute. So 3 rejections of our HTF call walls, our high time frame call walls on SPY or on ES. On SPY, I believe we have some pinning to the call wall too. So we have a couple forces working on these indexes here. Qs had good support on our wall, but I think there's some pinning here as well. IWM, and then if we look at the individual names, these sigma levels, this is what we expect them to do. The whole point of the sigma levels is that the market should move 68% of the time to close within these levels based on implied volatility, not historical in this case. Microsoft was strong at the open, but a rejection of that positive GEX level. Let's look at a couple more of these real quick. Same, closed within that, didn't really get close to our major levels. So we had Tesla really fighting to get above, and stay above and get above their call wall, their 1 sigma level. This is one of those things, you have a move up like this, and I would imagine a lot of people would be looking for, we have pull back, get back above VWAP, and they don't understand what kind of forces are acting on them here. NVIDIA, it's rotating around their call walls there. Google, same way. Everything within their 1 sigma. Amazon, a lot of pinning too. I mean, we still have a week before expiration. So we can see some of this GEX melt away, or move, especially if we do have any kind of event, but we might be looking at a whole nother week of this kind of action. So that's it tomorrow. We'll do this in the morning again and see where we sit and see what the market gives us. And hopefully we have some opportunities.